while I was driving, I was also trying to sightsee and stuff. And the reason why I say I was trying to sightsee, because every time I looked over, my girl was on that doggone game on her phone. I'm like, girl, I know you travel. I know you're a traveling woman and you go all over the place, girl. But this is the United States of America. I say, this is the United States of America. You have not experienced this like I haven't either. Yeah, we drove maybe someplace here or there, but this is a cross-country journey, right?
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Yup, y'all, I'm back at it again. I'm in the hot tub, enjoying life. And I think this is something that needs to be talked about, a subject that many of you been wanting, many of you been asking about, at least a couple of y'all been asking about. And I'm going to start the discussion right now. I've been putting it off. I'm going to talk to you about relocating here to Arizona. I know some people that are coming here from different places in the United States that are coming here. This is directly for the ones who are coming from one end of the United States to the other. If you're traveling at least 2,000 miles to come here, the thing that you should be considering, or the things that you should be considering, are: when are you going to come? When you come, where are you going to work? When you come, where are you going to live? Before even all that, how are you going to get here? What mode of transportation are you going to do when you're here? There's people who like to hold on to things and scared to start over. If you want to come with a whole bunch of clothes, a whole bunch of furniture, whatever else that you're going to be hauling here, you have to consider the cost. Things cost a lot to ship things here. Things cost a lot whether you're going to mail things here. It costs a lot whether you're going to get a container, whatever the thing is called, that people get to be able to have stuff kind of like shipped here. Things cost a lot if you're going to rent a truck and have to drive here. There are no easy way to get here if you're driving. The drive is a drive. The drive is a drive, man. It's a tough drive. It is not a joke. It's not a game. You can lose your life driving here. And I'm just being honest with you guys. The things that you have to consider are wherever you're coming from, wherever you're used to driving, that being on the road, if you're driving, there's people who have different driving styles. There's people who, you know, trucks. There's people who can maybe, God forbid, man, I don't want anybody getting hurt. I want everybody to get here in one piece, safe. Like, our trip was really a good trip that we took. We drove slow. We took our time. But there's people who, you have to be a very defensive driver. You have to look out for people who fall asleep, for people who speed, for people who change lanes without signaling, who do it abruptly. People will go from the very far fast lane to completely jump from one lane, 2-3 lanes over to just get off the off ramp instead of just putting the extra 10 minutes on their ride, 5 minutes on their ride. People will cut across, risking their life, other people's lives. There's people who are straight up just jerks on the road, man. Like, there's people who you have to really, really watch your back, watch your front, watch your side. People will merge into your lane no matter what lane you're in, and they won't even realize that you're there. I mean, it's a lot. And let's say if you're on the road for 5 days, then let's say you do 10 hours a day for 5 days, but that's 10 hours and 5 days of constantly being defensive. There's also the road conditions. You have to think about the weather. It can be raining, where a lot of people I notice, they don't understand that when it rains, you have to consider hydroplaning. They still drive the same way when it rains as they do when it's dry. They don't understand the conditions. There could be snow. There can be dry, black ice. There can be wind. There's wind that has blown my truck with the trailer that has my girls' RAV4 on the back, that made me feel like we were getting ready to get blown over, that we were going to be blown into the next lane. And I'm not talking about once and twice. I'm talking about this was like it just happens and happens and happens. Just different conditions as you're going through the United States. You have to consider the time that you're coming and the different states you have to drive through. You have to really plan and plot your map out, and you have to understand or have an understanding of the road conditions. There are times when we've had different road construction that you're supposed to have 2, 3, 4 lanes, and there was only like 1 lane going each way. Also, something that's very important, at nighttime, when it starts getting dark, there's people who can't drive at night. There are animals you have to consider that will cross the path. There are, somebody swerves out the way of an animal and you don't even know. What are you going to do? Also, you got to think, man, when you're on the road, there are tires, boxes. I've seen chairs. I've seen so many different big pieces of debris on the highway that's something you don't want to run over. You don't want that hitting your tire, blowing your tire up. You don't want that hitting your tire, running underneath your car, damaging your car. You can puncture something underneath your car. You don't want somebody trying to swerve out the way at the last second, that you're like behind them or something, or they're on the other side and then they got to swerve to get out of the way or something, not realizing that you're there also, or you do the same. Like it's just conditions. There's times at night when, oh wait, hold on a second, bubbles went off. All right, Bubbles back. So it's times at night when you gotta consider driving on roads that you've never drove on before. So therefore, you don't know how the road is twisting or turning. You don't know how like I said, it's always construction going on somewhere. You don't know what type of construction is going on where you have to, like there's sometimes when I drove on roads for a while that was so tight, so close, that there's no room for error. There's no room for a little swervy swerve. Don't be sleepy. Ugh. I said, don't be sleepy. Yeah. Because you can drift off for a second. I have a friend, actually one of my exes, who she went to college and we broke up because she was going to college, and driving to college she fell asleep and got hit by an 18-wheeler. She did not die, but she walks with a limp for the rest of her life. Beautiful young lady. And that's happened like maybe 30 years ago. Yeah, about 25 years ago. And I still think about that. Like, I will never forget when I got the phone call of what happened. So I know people who, from driving, a truck stopped in front of them and they were driving so fast that they literally had their heads chopped off. 4 guys I went to school with, heads got chopped off, like faces halfway chopped off. Like, it's not a game, man. It's no joke on the road. It's not. This is going to be the most dangerous but adventurous and fun trip you can have. You just have to be really careful. I'm gonna do a couple of 2-3 sets of videos about this the subject, because I want to really stress the importance of driving cross country. I mean, heck, you can drive for 5 hours somewhere. To get from here to California or here to Vegas, it takes about 5 hours. You can, it's nothing to just fall asleep. Like my last incident that I experienced driving Uber and Lyft, 2:30 in the morning, I'm in South Phoenix. I'm sitting at a light getting ready to make a left. There was another car next to me gonna go straight. We was on a road that no one else was out there. And it was one of those open fields all the way around. You couldn't see no houses, no businesses, no nothing for miles. And what happened was, as soon as the light turned green, there was a car that barreled into the back of the car next to me, and the car that hit the car immediately flipped over. Like, as soon as we moved like 3 feet, 3 feet in the car is nothing. As soon as we moved 3 feet to make the left, that's when the car just barreled in the car right next to us, flipped over immediately. So people can be drunk, people can be asleep, people can be checking their cell phones, people can be reaching down because they dropped something. People do all type of stupid things, man, and I'm gonna stress it. They do all type of stupid, dumb, idiotic things when they're driving, because a lot of people, I've noticed, it's about them. They think they're the only ones on the road. They think they're the kings of the road, and everybody else has to get out their way and bow down to them and move out the way. And, you know, people look at it like, oh, you're driving too slow. That's why that accident was caused. Like, really? Somebody driving too slow? Like, oh, the speed limit. And, yo, this is another thing. Like, the speed limit was like, you know, it could be anything. 25 on up to, I've seen the speed limit from 15 miles an hour all the way up to 75 miles an hour. And trust me, there are always people doing 25 miles over the speed limit. No matter what it is, 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, 75, no matter what the speed limit, there's always people, not a person, people who will do 25 miles over the speed limit. You could be driving, and somebody be like, yeah, and you'll be like, yo, I was just doing 5 miles over the speed limit, and they will be like flying like it ain't nothing. But let me tell you, from cutting people's hair, I cut about 25 people on average every day, 5 days out the week. 25. Been doing it for years. Even here. So I talk to people. I talk to those people that drive fast. And they tell me, like, we have big talks and discussions about things. And they look at stuff like, no, it's the person driving slow fault. Yo, it's no joke out here. Please do not hurt yourselves, not hurt your family. Do not, don't hurt other people. It's a tough journey to be driving cross country. So there's different modes of, there's different sources to get here. Driving can be the best thing or it can be the worst thing. Driving here can change your life one way or other. It can change your life for the good, it can change your life for bad. And that's another video I'm gonna talk about. If you get into an accident, yeah, it's changed your life for bad. It depends on how bad the accident is, on how your life will change. You can go to jail for vehicular homicide. People don't realize that certain states you go to, you will go to jail. And you're just trying to come change your life. There was something I was going to say. Can't remember. There's so many different topics and things I'm going to talk about, man. So much is on my mind. This trip was no joke. So many different segments. I don't want to stress too much, man. I just want to let you know it's just the road, the drive. It's not a game. The road conditions are like construction. The roads aren't safe all the time. All roads aren't always paved beautifully. The roads are ragged. They're rough. Like, it's tough. Good morning. How you doing? All right. It's something else, man. Like, I want you guys to get here, be safe, live your best lives like your boy. My life has definitely changed for the best. I'm really glad that I did drive across country. I had a system where I did all the driving. I wanted to always say, yeah, I drove across country. So, guess what? I can say I drove across country, and it's awesome. But you don't want to be one of those people that's like floating in heaven, looking down at your funeral and saying, I drove across country. You don't want to be in the hospital, but now you paralyzed or something, and you laying there mad talking about, why did I drive across country? You don't want to be one of those people sitting in jail with no bail talking about, what the hell did I drive across country for? So, just different things you want to consider, man. You don't want somebody to lose their life that you're driving with, and now you're like, if only I didn't drive across country. Like, I'm serious. Like, put yourself in those modes, man. I like to have fun, but this is not something to have fun with, man. This is something to really think about. It takes a certain skill set to be able to drive across country. I had a good support system. My girl was able to navigate where we were going. While I was driving, I was also trying to sightsee and stuff. And the reason why I say I was trying to sightsee, because every time I looked over, my girl was on that doggone game on her phone. I'm like, girl, I know you travel. I know you're a traveling woman and you go all over the place, girl. But this is the United States of America. I say, this is the United States of America. You have not experienced this like I haven't either. Yeah, we drove maybe someplace here or there, but this is a cross-country journey right now. You need to be watching and looking at things. This is the reason why we did it. We didn't do it so you can say, I broke a record while my boyfriend drove across country. I navigated and played the game the whole time. No. Look out the window. Look at them cows. Look at them horses. Look at them, you know, lions, tigers, and bears. Just all type of wildlife was out there. Just all type of beautiful scenery. Just all types of just things out there. And you missed it because you was not looking out the window. Yeah. But yeah, man, back to the subject at hand. So I want you guys to be safe. There's some more things I'm gonna touch on. I'm gonna do another video because this is really long, but it's really important. And I probably will talk about some similar things because I can't stress this enough, man. You gotta be safe on the road. Gotta get here in one piece. Gotta get the people here that you love safe. And the money, oh man, the money, that's a whole nother subject. The money's a subject. Like, I'm gonna stress on that. I'm gonna talk about that another time. But for now, think about them roads. Them roads are unforgiving. And people are jacked. Beep. I say people are jacked. Beep. Holla at your boy. Till the next time. Be safe out there, y'all. Yeah. It's not about me. It's about we. Bring them hugs in. And I'm dead serious. Bring them hugs in, man. I don't want nobody getting hurt out there. It's not a game. Driving here. Not a game.
Now for massage therapy. Delma Lennox.
Okay, now.
Harry Eason.